Hello everyone. As you may know, I do own a U-wing. So here is that U-wing. I don't really know how to start this video off, but as you can see, I do own a U-wing and it is very nice. If I do bring the camera back a bit, you can see that it is quite a hefty build if my camera will stay in place so that you can see it in all of its glory. It's big. Now, the only downside to this review is that I don't have the minifigures, like in the hover tank video, but, I thought it would be a good way to kind of represent the build without the minifigs, so I picked this up for $39. A while ago, you might have seen it in my haul where I also got the big leg boxes, but I thought I would be, although less effective because I don't have everything to cover, I think just covering the vehicle itself would be good enough as a video, kind of just get all of those out of the way so that I can kind of focus again on whole style reviews, but also I don't know, let me just get into it. So, I think maybe we should kind of just start off with the engines, kind of work our way to the front. Now, these engines, there's 4 of them. I'm going to take one off right here. Basically all the same design. They've got these 2 stickers right here. Just these kind of blue and white with a little bit of gray stickers. They're held together using a large Technic rod down the center, and they also use a few other pieces just to kind of get this interior detail so that you can have that kind of hook in there, those like mountain climbing like grips, as you can call them. There are some like other details in the engine with a little bit of dark gray there, which I think is really helpful. And then you end off with a bit of just flare at the end. With then, if I put this back, you got 2 of them per each side, which is accurate to how many engines the U-wing has, with them being connected technically with then a little bit of a white piece in the middle just to kind of even out the flow. Now if I bring it around, you can see exactly the same on this side, and there's a bit of symmetry. The only thing that is a downside is that sometimes, because they're on these like cylindrical Technic pieces and they're not like fully on there, like they won't fall off on you, to say the least, but they will move slightly, making them not really, so you could have them angle up slightly or down slightly. It's more likely that they'll be pushed downward than upward because you can't move them as much upward as you can downward. There's the same amount of motion or rotation, but it generally goes down rather than up. So that's the thing that I found worthwhile to mention. Now, if I bring it to the physical back, I am going to pull the wings back so that I don't cause any more damage over to the Praetorian Guard Battle Pack. But, as you can see, there's a bit of more engine detail in the center. Now you can drop this back. I don't really think that there's really any sort of features behind it. I'm pretty sure it's just to kind of even off this little bit of a grilled section so that you can get up and over into this like other engine detail, which has bits of the cockpit opening, which I think is very nice because otherwise it would be very difficult to reach into the cockpit. So I think having this little bit of button action right here where these little silver studs are, right here and right here, they're both connected to the same Technic mechanism, which is very nice. So if you were reaching at it with your right hand or left hand, you can have an easier time opening up the cockpit, which I think is very nice. And you've got you've got like a shredder claw over here. You've also got a nice engine in the back. Here, let me just bring it down. Now, you should probably be able to see that. It's fairly nice detail that they really didn't need to include, but it's like really nice that they did with this set. Then you've got this bulkier segment right here, and if I bring it back around over this way, not destroying anything, it's mainly there to kind of hold up this cockpit piece. See, here's me trying to grasp at it with my fingers, not the best, but yeah, this is kind of just to like stop the cockpit from like flying off and being a total mess. But if I bring it into the more cockpit side and angle it forward, you can see here's more of the mechanism just Really simplistic, but very good. You've got yourself a seat with then a control panel. I don't think your minifigure will really be able to reach it, but you know, does the job just fine. There's a bit of detail there, which is nice. Now, if you look at it a little bit closer into this like blue stripe down the center, you can see these two buttons. Now, if you don't know much about this set, you probably don't know what I'm really referring to, but if I bring in some of our good old friends, the spring-loaded shooters, or, yeah, I always get confused with these like various like play feature stuff, I don't know why. You can see that they kind of rise up slightly. It doesn't really detract too much from the build, but I clearly don't use them because I feel that they're a bit distracting. Now, if I move my camera down a bit, I am going to try and physically display the shooting aspect. Now, the rotation on a bit bad, but here, let's go. That one fired. They missed the camera, but you get the picture. Now it's back to the sleek design. And I think that's great integration for the flick-fire missiles. Now, it does ultimately look bad on the front, which you can see here now. But, you know, it's passable. I would say, like, still having that integration for the people that want it is great. And it doesn't detract that much from the build, specifically since most of the time you're going to be displaying it and seeing it from the top. So I think it's not that much of a detraction. Now, you also do get these more display blasters up at the front. Those are like the only guns that you can really consider are like ship specific, where the ship, the pilot, is really controlling them. Now, if I get onto the wings, I'll get into the cargo bay in just a second, but the wings, very nicely done. They have a lot of ball joints so that they can clip on, clip off. Even if you want to go and put it in flight mode, there's a clip in the back, which is very nice because, well, you won't have to worry about these flying around the place. And I think there's a good amount of detail on the wings. You've got one sticker in particular, which is right here on both sides, which adds a lot. You got the like identification markings, if you will, there. And I think the yellow, white, and slight bits of gray, specifically in this portion, really add, but I think the blue, white, and yellow really do add to this ship, which is why it's such a great set, if I'm being honest. Now, the underside has, for one, this little glass panel. I'm not too sure what the purpose of it is. It might be like a separate like cockpit, but like honestly, if I'm being honest, I don't know. Maybe it's so that the pilot can see down, because if you look at it from a specific angle, you can kind of see what I'm getting at. If I can just, this is very difficult to get, like, because you can see that you can kind of get a little bit there. Like, I don't think I can really represent it too well, but I think you might have seen just a bit of what I'm talking about, where you can kind of see. Maybe it's better if I put it to the underside, but you can see that it clearly leads into that cockpit area. Now, other than that, which is one of the most confusing things about this to me, is going to be the physical passenger bay. Now, you've got these little clips where you can attach a blaster, very nice, you know, so you can have some gunners in there as well. Now, albeit the bay itself is a bit small, you can hold maybe 4 minifigures at a time, 2 with like an astromech droid, so realistically the cargo bay is pretty small. And now, with the size of this ship, that's kind of surprising that the cargo bay is that like small, considering if you look at it like this, it looks really big. But, you know, that's kind of some of the drawbacks that you get with this set. Because display-wise, it's fantastic. You know, swooshability, if I'm going to use a term out of the M&R dictionary, this thing is big. Like, if I bring it out, it's like really big. It's like I can barely fit it into frame, but it's just like a beast, if I will say, which honestly is a good thing with a set like this. But if you're looking at it and you're like, well, is this a set for you to pick up? In my opinion, this ship is worth the pickup even without the minifigs if you can get it for a good price. And with the minifigs, if you're paying a good price, it's an even better. So, I think this set is an absolute win. You can argue about that in the comments if you wish. I know not many people comment, but I encourage you to comment, at least for this time around. And so, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye.